What is happening, everybody? So, the Viper's dead. Again. Does anybody even notice that? Mopar's greatest contribution to the American sports car is now dead. And yeah, I know that there's rumors of it coming back, possibly V8 powered now. Okay, well, it should have been V8 powered to begin with, but that doesn't really matter. The problem is that the Viper never could ingratiate itself with the American buying public, even though it was more or less a throwback just by its own design. Basically, it was a Shelby Cobra reinvented for a modern era. Then with the Gen 2, with the GTS, it was the Daytona Coupe reinvented for the modern era. But the reality is that it was priced so far ahead of its only real competition, at least in the United States, the Corvette, that it never really caught on. I mean, yeah, you had some Mopar guys that were diehards that would actually go out and buy one, myself included. But the problem is that just walking around type folks didn't have the kind of coin to actually shell out for one of those things. And really, they kind of made themselves a bit too aloof, which is kind of flying in the face of what Mopar has been all about for all these years. I mean, we're talking about the manufacturer of the Roadrunner, which back in the day was nothing but youth marketing. The Dart, youth marketing. I mean, they had the Scat Pack and Direct Connection and Rapid Transit. All of that was youth marketed. Well, the problem with something like the Viper is that youth typically can't afford the damn thing. And Corvettes, on the other hand, lend themselves to a different buying public. Basically, that buying public is everybody. If you've got a job and you've got, I don't know, not too much overhead, you can afford a Corvette. But it takes a special kind of income to be able to afford a Viper. The other issue is that the Viper didn't ever come with an automatic. Kind of makes you wonder. Corvettes had an automatic since always. And everybody can get behind the wheel of that car and drive it. Not necessarily a good idea with the Viper. See, they have a nasty habit of being twitchy. Probably because they were initially tuned with a ton of understeer. Lots of stories about those cars running nose first into things. Guys trying to go into U-turns or, I don't know, just around bends pretty quickly. Find out real fast that that understeer is no freaking joke. It's a little handling quirk those cars always had. It's the main reason why a whole lot of them didn't get to see their 6-month anniversary. So, getting back to it though. The Viper's dead. Hardly anybody noticed. Barely a whimper. And the sad thing about it is that Mopar now, since it's dead, if they do decide to bring it back, have got a golden opportunity to put that thing heads up against the Corvette. If that thing were to be priced right, powered correctly by a genuine American V8, maybe an all-aluminum 392 making, I don't know, about 550 horsepower, that would be ideal. Have that thing available with an automatic, and now you've got yourself a recipe for success. At least you'll be able to go up against the old guard without embarrassing yourself, which they kind of did in a lot of ways. So you got to remember that the Viper wouldn't still be dead if people were still buying it. And that's the problem. Nobody bought the thing. Yeah, they're fun to look at, and they make for a great poster, but posters don't really pay the rent around that manufacturing facility. So Mopar, Dodge, FCA, whoever's going to, SRT, whoever's going to be behind the new Viper, if it ever does come out, I really hope that you guys kind of take a bit of a lesson from your competition that you're trying to dethrone. I mean, you can only hang your hat on so many SCCA Solo 2 victories for so long. Or I'm sorry, GT2 victories for so long. But Corvette still has you trumped in total victories, even in that respect. So, do yourself a favor. Put out something that people can actually afford, because I will say this. If Dodge, SRT, FCA, whatever the entity wants to call itself, does decide to put out a V8 powered, all aluminum, whatever, making around 550 horsepower, price that thing around $65,000 or $70,000 as opposed to $80,000 or $90,000 or whatever thousand dollars you were at before, you will secure a massive buying public. and a ton of guys that would have been buying Hellcats or SRT Challengers, myself included, might just give it another look. So anyway, that's my rant on the Viper. Hope y'all are having a good one. Adios.